What's Cooking Wednesday, guys? Daywalker Cards here. Today we are taking a look at the top 8 deck lists from the Latina City Championships. It was held last weekend here in Italy. So I want to bring attention first and foremost to Edison Format Latina. You can check them out over on Instagram. They are another page in Italy posting their locals online, and when they host these bigger tournaments, you can see the results from that. So I have just pulled the results from their page and put them in an easier to view dueling book. But the tournament was 37 players with a cut to top 8. So shout outs to everybody who went to that, supported them, and came into top 8. But first, we need to jump into those deck lists. So let's check out what did well. So first, we have the 8th place deck, or 5th through 8th. 5th through 8th. There's no determining factor on which one finished where in this case. So we have a Blackwing deck. It's pretty standard except for one thing. He chose to main deck a Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer over the 3rd Bora. So that's an interesting tech choice there. But looking at the rest of the top 8, I believe it was a good choice, to be completely honest. But everything else is pretty much what you have come to expect to see in the Blackwing matchup. He's on the double legacy of Yatagarasu, which we're going to talk about this card in just a minute with the rest of these deck lists. But there is Blizzard, all the good guys chilling. He played the double Vayu. So let's check out the 7th place list, though. We're going to move on to 7, and this was Salvo Machina. So he is on double black Salvo with the triple Dekoichi, and then the standard Machina stuff in the deck. A little light sworn package here with the triple Raiko and Lila with the charge to search them out, and a single hamster because you don't want to go too heavy with searching them all out and end up with dead cards, obviously. And so I personally have tried this deck before in the past. I was not a fan of the Salvo Machina build and liked the Chaos Salvo a little bit more. But shout outs to him for getting top 8 at this event and doing his thing with the deck. I did not try Chaos Sorcerer and Dad when I played the deck. Maybe that's why I didn't do well, right? But, you know, it's an interesting deck none the least, and it's great to see some diversity here in this top 8 because, honestly, for a second, we're going to lose a little bit of that diversity. So let's move on to the next deck. Oh, surprise, surprise, another Blackwing. So this is more of a standard Blackwing deck, but an interesting choice here. We go to 41 cards with double legacy of Yata. So I feel like he could have just dropped a Yata and just played a single Yata. So the only advantage of the Yata is the simple fact of setting it as a bluff. So I don't know, maybe I would have just went with 40. Trap Dust Shoot's not a real card though, so you know, maybe that's how he sees it as well. I do believe this was one of the local Roman players who got into top 8 with the deck, so shout outs to him in doing well in that. But as you can see, it is a pretty standard Blackwing deck, except for the fact that he pushed it to 41 with the Yatas. You know, you do you. And then the side and extra are what you come to expect. He does have a DD Warrior Lady in here, and he is with the DD Crow. He has the DD Crow in the main deck, so nice little tech choice. I do believe DD Crow in main was really good for him this weekend, because in 5th place, we have Lightsworn. So this is your typical Lightsworn Beckoning of Light build. He does side deck Double Breaker. That's a nice thing to see. I'm a big fan of Breaker the Magical Warrior. He is on the Soul Releases, which, again, I think is a good choice for this weekend moving forward, because as we've seen now, there's been 2 Blackwing decks, Salvo Dad deck, or Salvo Machina, and that's pretty good versus the Salvo, and then a Lightsworn. So congratulations to him for getting into the 5th through 8th slot here. So let's take one last look. So it was Blackwing, Salvo Machina, Blackwing, and then Lightsworn. And then our next one is Machina Cat. All right, so we have made it to the top 4, and it is an interesting choice here. We have the Cat engine with the Arabellums, the Hamsters, the Rescue Cat, the Raikos, and then we have the whole Machina Machina however you want to pronounce it, engine in the deck here. So very powerful, combining the two together to a top 4 finish. Very, very strong. Like to see it happen when people, I like to see things like this. People are like, you know what, let's mix these decks and let's see what happens. And it worked out for him. He finished top 4 in this event. I believe he was 4th place or 3rd, 4th tied. I do not believe they played out 3 or 4. Maybe they did, actually, because I think the prizes are different between 3 and 4. So maybe they played it out and he lost the 4th place match. So pretty standard stuff from what you see from these two decks, but just thrown together into one deck, which it kind of makes sense because the Pot of Avarices are pretty heavy in both decks. Raikos are in both decks. All he really did was drop the rest of the engine here for a little bit of a cat engine. Throw the Rescue Cat, the Rescue Cat and the Arabellum. So, interesting deck. Congratulations on your top 4 finish. And then in 3rd place, we have, oh no, another Light Sworn. All right, so now you can see why I said I think Soul Release might have been a good idea for the weekend. We have double Light Sworn and a Salvo deck in the top and the Machina deck. So lots of things where you're going to want to DD Crow or Soul Release their cards. And interestingly enough about this deck, the monster lineup, completely standard, but his spells differentiates a good bit. He is on triple My Body as a shield. Maybe they have a cat-heavy meta down there. I'm not entirely sure, but just straight up triple My Body in the main deck. He said, I am protecting my cards. I am going to mill. I am going to pop. I'm going to do what I want to do. I will pay my $1,500 to win this game. So very interesting tech choice there with the triple My Body as a shield. And then onto his side deck, we have the Consecrated Lights, the Cyber Dragons, and 2 Thunder King. I like that. I like to see it. Huge fan of Thunder King as a card. And this one is where I'm like, maybe this dude had some inside information because, like, he is side decking 3 Soul Releases. What was he expecting that he was going to need 3 Soul Releases? Like, that is so many Soul Release in the side deck. And honestly, I'm sure he was happy he sided them, You'll see in a minute when we finish out this top 8 why I'm saying that, but we've already seen 2 Light Sworn, him included, Machina Cat, Machina Salvo, and then, to a lesser extent, Soul Release is good versus Blackwing. So, I don't know. It's strange to see triple Soul Release in the side. And then we have double Mask Restrict, double Decree, and a Transmigration Prophecy. This is a very strong tech choice here. I like the Transmigration Prophecy. You've seen this more and more popping up in the fairy builds, but it's nice to see it in the normal build as well. And then he did not even have a full extra deck. I'm not sure what the deal was with that, but yeah, there was not a full extra deck listed, and this is it. Maybe there were 2 more cards and they just didn't get posted, but congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Now we're going to move on to 2nd place, and boom, another Blackwing. So that is a good number of Blackwing in the top 8. A good number of Light Sworn in the top 8. And this is another interesting choice here. We have 41 cards with the Legacy of Yada. Again, Yada does give you that potential, hey, it's a bluff, I'm setting it, play, but at what point does it mess up the numbers? I don't know. If somebody's done the math and this is like a reasonable thing to do, let me know. And again, this player is on double DD Crow in the main deck. Crazy stuff. Double DD Crow in the main. He was so ready for what was to come this weekend. The Light Sworns, the Blackwing mirror matches to stop the Blizzards and the Dads, and he's on double Vayu. A lot going on with this tournament. There was a lot of interesting card choices. And for the side deck, we're on 1 Cyber, 1 Chimera. So he opted to side the Chimera and play the Mistworm, I'm assuming is what went in over the Chimera. And you know what? That's okay, because if you can't make it game 1 and you have the side deck space, go for it, right? Side it in, don't main it. and have that monster just in case for game 1. And then a My Body as a shield, double Nobleman, smashing the deck, Devies, and another Soul Release. I think every deck almost was citing Soul Release in the top 8. Master Strict, double Pulling the Rug, double Royal Oppression, and a Skill Drain. The Master Strict is an interesting choice because it does hurt your Icarus attacks, but if you can get it off and not brick your Icaruses, it is very strong versus frogs. And speaking of frogs, our winning deck is the only deck that features frogs in it. It is not Frog Monarch. It is not Frog Hero. It is instead Fish OTK. All right, so the winning deck for the Latina City Championships was Fish OTK. Very, very powerful. We are on double Battle Fader with the triple Caius double dupe Fishborg Blasters to help with our combos and to actually do what we need to do. The Gores Oyster Meister. Very fun card. So if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, except when destroyed by battle, special summon 1 Oyster token level 1. So you can use it to, synchro with the Armory Arm, and then you get the token. And then we have our Royal Swamp Ill. If this card is used as a synchro material, all other synchro materials must be fish monsters. So they must be a fish type. All right, so you can use it with the Oyster Meister to synchro. You can also use it with Tongyo to synchro. So the 1 vanilla Tongyo in there for the comboing purposes. We have the triple Substitute, and then the beast of the deck, Super Ancient Deep Sea King. I think it's Koelenkath. I don't know how to pronounce that, guys. So Super Ancient Deep Sea King. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card. Special summon as many level 4 lower fish monsters as possible from your deck. So level 4 lower fish monsters, our Tongyo, our Eel, our Oyster Master, and our Fishborn Blaster. So special summon level 4 lower monsters from your deck, but they cannot attack, and their effects are negated. No problem. We're going to synchro with them. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, quick effect, you contribute 1 other fish monster, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. So Super Ancient Deep Sea King is a big 2800 guy. So this deck utilizes that Armory Arm Colossal Fighter, crash, 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 I win the game OTK. And then we have the rest of the deck, Brain Control, Cold Wave to enable the wins, double Enemy Controller, double Gold Sarcophagus, Heavy, the triple Moray of Greed, Shovel 2 waters, draw 3 cards. Pretty good when all of your monsters are water outside of these 6. So everything else can help you see the rest of your deck. Salvage to grab the things back from the graveyard and keep going. Get those combos going. And Double Threatening Roar, because I'm assuming just like the Battle Faders, he doesn't want to lose before he sets up and does his thing. He needs a few turns to get everything going. The 1-for-1 for the combo enabling, though, you need to tribute for this Super Ancient Deep Sea King. And, very, very powerful deck when it goes off. And apparently it must have went off well this weekend for him because he finished in first place, winning the Latina City Championships and securing his invite to the Shuffle Deck Gaming Edison Championships. And then we have the Cyber Dragons in the side deck with the double Snowman Eater, good versus the Blackwings, etc. And as you saw with our top 8, there was a good bit of Blackwings in here. Literally the deck he beat in the finals was Blackwing. It's also good versus Hero, double Vanity's Fiend, very, very strong when you can just easily tribute it for it. Lightning Vortex to clear fields, double My Body, lots of My Body, 1 Spiritual Water Art, interesting side deck choice. Double Trap Stun, makes sense to play these. You got to get through in order to do the OTKs. So side those in versus the more trap-heavy decks. And then just some extra traps here for those overly aggressive decks. You can side these in. So congratulations to everybody involved. And now that I've gone through the deck list, I will show their page. I didn't want to show it at the beginning because I did not want to spoil the fact that this deck was the winning deck. So Edison format, Latina, you can check them out over on Instagram. They're posting pretty frequently. As you can see, they have other deck lists on here from their other tournaments. This is a Tengu list. So check them out over on Instagram, Edison Format Latina. Thanks for watching, everybody, and remember to like, follow, subscribe, and please go follow them over on Facebook for more Edison decks and Edison content to see what's going on out there in the world. So congratulations to Fish OTK for winning the Latina City Championships. See you next time, guys.